Ralph Ward, he's a Florida man who shot and killed his wife's lover, has been acquitted under the state's stand your ground law. So this man actually entered into his home late at night one night, found his wife in bed with her ex-lover, claims that he didn't recognize the man, although his wife had previously lived with him. He lived next door to them. He had tattoos that were very obvious, but claims he didn't recognize the man, shot him in the chest and head, claimed that he was raping his wife, and has now been acquitted based on the stand your ground law.
Insanity. No, look, in this state now, you can shoot and kill almost anybody. As long as I don't know, that dude was looking at me funny, you know? I mean, what was I going to do? Not shoot him in the head? I mean, I sensed a vague threat. When he called 911, he said this guy was fornicating with my wife. He didn't say he was raping my wife.
Yeah, he didn't use the word rape.
He said he was fornicating. And that fornicating is a very, not like, oh, like in the heat of the moment, oh my God, I can't believe I just shot this rapist. He was having sex with my wife. I can understand that. Fornicating with my wife means he was doing something immoral with my wife. That's why I executed him.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. And when the dispatcher on the 911 call asked, is he dead? He said, I hope so.
Right.
Okay. All right. And then he said, the guy has a tattoo of his wife on his neck. Like you didn't notice the tattoo of your wife.
Oh,
they
neck
were
and back. Neck and back.
And back.
Walks in, sees his wife on the back of the man having sex with his wife, and shoots the man.
You know what's a good telltale sign that your wife is not being raped? When the guy on top of her has tattoos all over his bodies with her on it.
Yeah. Unless he's like a really psycho stalker.
Yeah, like a super psycho stalker. I'll give you that exception.
Well, he's thorough and he's a detail-orientated rapist. But another sign that it's not a rape is when you walk in and the guy's having sex with your wife, reverse cowgirl.
Yeah.
So that's not a raping position.
No, not generally. Takes two to tango in that position.
I'm not sure that was the exact position they were calling.
I'm not sure.
That wasn't actually in the report I read, but maybe he did more research.
Three things interesting about this guy. He's a Vietnam veteran, the guy who did the shooting. He's 70, and he's impotent.
Yep.
So you can understand his rage, right, from Vietnam, and he has a thing that doesn't work. You know, his rifle works, but his gun doesn't. And that's right. This is my rifle. This is my gun. This is for fighting. This is for fun. That's how that guy. I saw Full Metal Jacket. And so those are the interesting things. It's obvious. So my whole point is, no matter how crazy this law is, wouldn't a jury still convict this guy? What's wrong with these people in Florida that they can look at this and go, you know what? Let's let him go.
I think the reason is because they had to acquit based on the stand your ground law. I think the law is written in such a way that this was a stand your ground. It qualified as a stand your ground case.
So you think the judge directed the jury? You can only decide this on the law, even if you disagree with the law, you have to go with the law. You don't think he said that to them?
Now, look, I don't know what the judge did that would get into the particulars of how he instructed the jury, but I do know that everyone here is guilty, okay? and here's what I mean by that. The state of Florida is guilty for passing this insane law, which Cara's right, makes it far, far easier to get away. Like, for example, in the old law, you would have to have some sort of imminent danger to your life. So in that case, you would, for example, have to say, hold, stop raping my wife for a second, right? And then see if there's a danger. And if the guy, for example, let alone being a danger to you, but continued that activity, right? Then you might have an argument to say, I had to protect my wife, right? But here, because of stand your ground, he has no obligation.
Yeah,
right?
He only has to prove that he thought the man was raping his wife in the split second before he shot him.
Right.
It's about his mental state.
So the law is insane, right? Now, but the jury's also at fault here, because you could still look at that law and then go, oh, come on.
Yeah.
He didn't think there was an imminent threat. He didn't really think that he had to stand his ground. He obviously executed this guy because he was having sex with his wife. Anybody with half a bit of sense can see that and say, I'm not going to let him get away with it. And it's perfectly within even stand your ground to say this guy is guilty. And look, the impotent thing, by the way, Jimmy, came into the trial because the defense was like, oh, he has erectile dysfunction. Like, so in other words, the defense is like, come on, man. You're going to put this guy in jail? I mean, this guy was having sex with his wife, and this poor schmuck couldn't even get it up. He was a cuckold.
Please.
You're not going to put that guy in jail. You should have shot that guy, right?